Hi Stampers! Welcome to the Queen Cat Design Studio. Today I'm here with the new Willow Lane Collection by Maigan Lynn. This is Sophie. She is one of the new stamps that will be coming out the first week in May for our new release week. We always have new releases the first Wednesday of the month. This is a cute Mother's Day card that I made, and you're going to learn how to make it today. I've used her new Sophie stamp. And each of the stamps, there are 3 currently in the collection. There's Sophie, Blue, and Ivy. Each of the stamps have some words that come with them. And one of the words is Happy Mother's Day, and I believe it comes with Sophie. It might come with Ivy, but I believe that we put it with Sophie. And we're going to use one of our lovely background stamps. I don't know if you can see that too well. I used some chalk ink for that. It is simply gorgeous. And we're going to use some little baubles that I found at Michael's, a Fiskars punch, and some nestabilities, some Prima flowers with some glitter glue. This card is still wet. I just made it, so we have to be careful. And then some stickles on her dress and her shoes. I wanted her shoes to sparkle. And then also for this tutorial we are going to use a sketchbook. I like to do sketches, and if you've been to the Queen Cat Designs gallery, you know that there's a bunch of sketches that I've done. And what I do is I make these little ATC size books, and it's just covered chipboard, and I use my Bind It All to bind them together, and I just tie some fun ribbon on them. And I buy the photo books at the dollar store, and I cut the inside pages, and that's what I use for the pockets. And then I just print out my sketches and put them in each pocket. And for this card, I've bookmarked it here. For this card, we're going to use this sketch. And I'll go ahead and in the description for the video, I'll link you to the sketch in the Queen Cat Designs gallery. So you'll be able to get the sketch for yourself. So let's get started. And I'll also put the sizes for the different cardstocks that I used for the card, so you won't have to write them down or ask me later what I use. I'll put those in the description for the video. I've gone ahead and I pre-cut everything, so this video is not as long as Malia's video was. So we're going to start with a white card base. We're going to adhere a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 black cardstock to it, and as usual I'm using my sticky thumb adhesive. Just put some adhesive onto it and adhere it right to the top of your white card front. Then we are going to get to stamping, set that aside, and we're using this gorgeous background stamp. Mine has been used a lot, so there's glitter on it and there's pink ink and everything. I'll also link you to the stamp as well. It's one of our pairing stamps, and I'm sorry I don't know the exact name. We have so many of them, and right now offhand I can't think of it. So this is Rouge Chalk Ink by Color Box. I love their chalk inks. They're so nice. Just go ahead and ink up a portion of the stamp, and my cardstock has stripes on the back and it's solid on the front, and we're going to use the solid side. So ink it up and then just lay the cardstock down onto it and rub with your finger and pick it up, and it's nicely stamped. Set that aside and I'll clean that up later. And then what we're going to do now is get your card back that you've put the black on, and then just use some of your sticky thumb or Tombow or glue stick, whatever you use for card making, and stick that right down to the front of your card, right at the very bottom, just like that. Now when the chalk ink dries, it's going to dry a little bit pale, and it's actually going to have a chalk finish to it, and it feels chalky. It's very interesting. I love chalk ink. I've loved it since it came out. I have almost every color that they make. Alright, now what this is just a 1-inch strip that I punched with my handy dandy Fiskars punch. It's got an oval and a dot, and then it's a scalloped edge. And I just adhered that to kind of break up between the black and the pink here. So we're going to set that aside. Next, what we're going to do is take our cute little Sophie stamp by Maigan. Isn't she adorable? And we're going to use our Fiskars stamp press again, just like last week. Put her down there. We're going to use Ranger's Archival ink, our oil-based ink. I love this ink. Oh, it stamps so well and nice and black. And I just pick up a scrap of white cardstock. Go ahead and line her up. Move my ink pad out of the way. Stamp her down. Alright, gorgeous. Kind of give her a shake to dry a little bit. And then, let me find my trimmer here. I'm going to give her a trim around the edges. You can see that. I got my other video camera to work, so we're back to rolling with the nice camera again. Alright. And if you guys have any questions or comments on the videos, please feel free to let me know. You can post comments here on YouTube or on the blog, or even email me at info@catstamps.com. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do, just clean up my edges. My trimmer really needs a new blade. Got to go to the store and pick one up. Okay, so for this card, this is the finished card. What I did was I went ahead and I matted Sophie with black, and then I matted her again with pink. So we're just going to take the scraps of cardstock here I have, and I'm going to use my sticky thumb, and I'm going to mat her onto some black. Oops. Just gonna, about 1/8 of an inch is usually what I do. And then, like I said last week, I don't really measure a lot. I love this Fiskars trimmer because inside of the groove here there's a wire, and the blade runs right along the wire, so you know pretty exact to where you're trimming. So if you're trying to mat like this, you know where that blade's going to cut, and you know how much of a mat you're going to get with it. So see that mat? It's pretty even. Sometimes I don't do it even, but that's usually when I'm using another trimmer that doesn't have the wire in there. So we're going to do the same thing on the pink here. Just get her glued down. Now we're going to go ahead and use our wire to guide us. Alright. Now she's matted with her two colors. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick her down to my card. And I just use my sticky thumb. And I put her right up against the edge because my sentiment is pretty big. And at the very last minute I decided to stick a flower here because this big black was just so stark black up there, and I wasn't really happy with it for a Mother's Day card. So I just had some pink flowers on my desk and I said, let's fill that in. So we're going to stamp our sentiment now. And for the sentiments I usually use an acrylic block versus my stamp press. I just think it gives me more control, unless I'm doing a random stamped project or something. So I've got my Happy Mother's Day on my block here, and I just stamped it onto an oval that I cut with my nestabilities, and then I'm going to mount it onto a scalloped oval that I cut with more nestabilities. And use my sticky thumb and stick it right on there. And if you're wondering what this surface is I'm working on, it's a craft sheet by Ranger. Mine is tattered and worn because I use it so much. I usually use it for every project, and it's usually under everything I do, and it is so worn out. It's got holes in it. It's been colored and uncolored and cleaned and dirtied and everything. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking some pop dots and just sticking them on the back here. So we're going to pop this sentiment right off the card with some 3D little pop dots. I believe these were EK Success brand. I've used just about all of them off of my little sheet here, as you can see. So, and you can put it just about any place you want, and I kind of want to make this straight line go away. So I'm going to put it right there. I want to overlap, I want to overlap Sophie a little bit and make it like that. Then what you can do is I'm going to take my glossy accents and I'm going to give it a tap to get it down. And then if you have a problem with your glossy accents clogging up, take a paper clip, and I have one that's coated with plastic, so I just took off the end of it. You can see it. I just took off the plastic end, and you just go in it and put the wire down and then just stick the paper clip in there and it'll unclog it pretty easily. So just squirt some glossy accents on the back of your flower, and what I did was I just took two Prima flowers and then just one dollar store flower that I found at Halloween time, a little black guy, and then a black brad in the center, and just bradded them together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip it in here under the sentiment as far as he'll go, so he'll pop out just like that. And then when you're finished with your glossy accents, always give it a good tap on the table, and that usually will clear out your nozzle pretty well, so you don't have to use your paper clip trick. So these little baubles are from Michael's. They were in the spring summer flower section. They're $4.99 a bottle. They are the Citrus Garden Collection. Handy bottle. I'd say there's probably a million in there. But for this we're going to use 3. So just take your glossy accents or your crystal lacquer. You could probably use Elmer's glue for this. Whatever you've got that's liquid that will adhere plastic to paper. And one side is domed. They're little half circles, and they're about 3/4 of the size of the regular half rounds that we've seen in the past. I haven't seen these mini ones before. So now that's to that point. And then what I did was I just took some glitter glue and just went around the petals on the flower. They look like a heart, I thought, so I wanted to embellish the heart petals on the flower. And then just go ahead and get the glue on there. And I'm using the dollar bin glue from Michael's and Joann's. This is Studio G glitter. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a darker pink and put them on her shoes. Kind of like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. I just think she is so adorable. Alright, and then we'll put some in her hair. This is part 2 of our video collection that we are doing to interview our designers. And this has been Maigan Lynn's interview, and this is Vicki with Queen Cat Design signing off. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with another interview.